I think I know what you're going to say, but how do you think this is going to play out and who's going to win it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not going to be very original, Spencer, but I really can't see who can beat Pogačar.
Hi, I'm Spencer Martin, along with Johan Bruyneel, and this is Outcomes.
Outcomes is not an online gambling operator or a gambling site of any kind. We are simply here to provide information about sports betting for entertainment purposes only. It is a responsibility of all visitors to this podcast to check current local laws in their area or country before doing any gambling online. It is your responsibility to know and follow your local laws in place. Although we try best to provide accurate information on Outcomes, we cannot be held responsible for any inaccurate or incorrect information which is mentioned on this show. If you place any bets based on the conversations on Outcomes, you confirm or understand that it is possible to lose some or all monies used when betting on sports or doing any gambling. You cannot hold Outcomes responsible for any such losses. Our podcast is here to provide entertainment and should be viewed as that and nothing more. Thanks for tuning in.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Outcomes. We are previewing Strade Bianche. I'm Spencer Martin. I'm here with Johan Bruyneel. If you're wondering, where's the Move Plus? It's on hiatus through the spring and during these major races where we will break down how we think the race is going to play out, who's going to win, and what you should bet if you would like to do so. And we'll be back with the Move Plus during the more quiet weeks throughout the spring when there's not a major race. But I will list off the favorites, Johan, on Unibet in Europe. If you can find a book in the US that takes bets for this, that will probably be very similar odds. And then we'll get your take on how it's going to play out and who's going to win. Tadej Pogačar is the favorite. I've never seen odds like this for a one-day race. I feel like I've started to say that for every race that Pogačar's in, but this is ridiculous. He's minus 335 for the win. If you don't know what that means you have to bet $335 to win $100. No. Yes. To win $100. So that is crazy. That's like Grand Tour odds. Tom Pidcock second at plus 900. Tom's Squeens at plus 2200. Matthias Vajcek at plus 2500. Tim Wellens plus 3300. Pello Bilbao plus 4000. Ben Healy plus 4000. Mark Hirschi plus 4000. Isaac Del Toro plus 5,000. Roman Gregoire plus 5,000. Leonard Van Upfelt plus 5,000. Kevin Vaclon plus 5,000. Christian Scaroni plus 6,600. It goes on and on and on. One of the weird oddities of Pogačar having odds like that is it pushes guys like Pidcock, who won the race 2 years ago, almost into wild card money territory. So that is the one advantage of this. But Johan, I think I know what you're going to say, but how do you think this is going to play out and who's going to win it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not going to be very original, Spencer, but I really can't see who can beat Pogačar. And this is something that we need to consider, right? As a race like Strade Bianche is a little bit like Paris-Roubaix. There can be mechanical problems. Usually, I mean, he does have a lot of teammates around him that could still be fixed, but without any incident. My favorite to win is Pogačar, of course. It's really bad odds, minus 335 for the win, minus 910 for the podium. I've never seen that.
That's absurd.
But yeah, going off what we saw in Tour of UAE, knowing that this is a race he likes, he came to this race to win it again. We all know what happened last year, right? He took off with 83K to go or something. And that was it. Tomorrow, I think the circumstances are a little bit different. It's supposed to be very mild weather, around 17 degrees, sunny and almost no wind. So it's going to be fast and dusty. We're going to see a lot of dust. But yeah, Pogačar is my number one to win. I can't see how, if he doesn't have a problem with like a mechanical or a crash, it's Pogačar's race.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that. I mean, just a little bit of background on the course and why this is such a theoretical slam dunk for him. It's very hilly. Like there's not big climbs, but it has 12,000 feet of climbing, over 12,000 feet, almost 4,000 meters of climbing. It's a lot of gravel sections, kind of mainly in the middle. And an odd thing, so it's constantly up and down. The climbs are about 1 to 2K long with a few shorter ones, but it's relentless. I went back and watched last year's race. I had forgotten just it must be asphyxiating to ride because you're either descending gravel or you're climbing. And it's just like that over and over and over again. An oddity of the race, it's on Max in the US for those who want to watch it, but it's 213K. So it's getting up there to monument distance. They don't start televising it until about 100K to go. And so you miss a lot of the action. You turn it on and the peloton's like last year, it was like 15 riders in the peloton when the TV started. So I don't have like the best understanding. I've never raced this, so I don't really know what goes on before the TV cameras come on, but I think it's going to soften the legs up for a Pogačar attack. I think he could win this solo based on what we saw at UAE Tour. The guy is so strong, but the money is so bad. I mean, if you bet $1,000 on him, you'd win $1,300. That's awful. Good. I'm just going for my pick. Let's just assume something happens to him. Even a flat tire might not be enough. He has 5 mechanicals in a row.
Well, Spencer, another thing that could happen, for example, which I can perfectly envision, is that, okay, we're talking about Pogačar and this unbeatable guy, but he is human. And, logically, he will probably attack again where he attacked last year. Was it called Saint-Marie, I think, right? He actually last year was very unique because he announced where he was going to attack. And he did, and nobody could follow. So if he does that again, it's not windy, and there could be some kind of organization behind. And a guy like, if you attack early, you can encounter yourself, right? You can actually all of a sudden hit the wall. Doesn't happen often, but it is possible. So that's another scenario where Pogačar wouldn't win if that he goes early and he actually overdoes it and runs out of energy or runs out of gas.
Can you think of an instance of this happening with Pogačar off the top of your head?
Yeah, I've already seen it in the past in the Tour de France.
I was just going to say, it seems impossible to imagine, but yeah, that's exactly what happened with Vingegaard. It's less rare in one-day races, but I mean that's the blueprint that you're describing right there. So, on that note, if that happens, if somehow this is a sprint, I'm going Tom Pidcock plus 900. That's crazy money for Tom Pidcock. That's like wild card money. He's won the race not last year, but the year before. He's looking pretty good. Like, didn't we say at the Saudi Tour he was putting out the best 5 and 10-minute power numbers of his career? So I like Pidcock here. I mean, I don't like him if this was even money, but the fact that it's so slanted in his favor odds wise, and if it comes down to a sprint, like Pidcock could win. Like he's a good sprinter. Pogačar is not.
He's fast. He's punchy. He's very explosive. That's why he won the race already. So I think at that plus 900, definitely a good pick. I like it.
And it finishes on, it's like a kilometer long climb that's steep. It's average of 9.7%, but the steep part, it must be like 12, 15% cobblestones. Do you remember when Wout van Aert got cramps and he fell over on that climb?
But that was actually, I think one of the first years that he started to do some road racing. He was still a full-on cyclocross rider. He was on a small Belgian team. If I'm not mistaken, Verandas Willems or something like that.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
And I remember he got in for third place, and he stood up and he got cramps and he fell off his bike. I remember those images. Yeah.
Yeah. That's wow. I feel like I'm getting old. I feel like that just happened. But if Pogačar doesn't win, Pidcock doesn't win, do you have a second favorite in your pocket?
Favorite? I mean, that's it's not really
more of a podium favorite. But
yeah, a guy who, in my opinion, is going to be in the mix and be there in front, and I'm going to pick him because he's so consistent. Is Pello Bilbao, especially at 4,000 for the win, more than that even, plus 500 for the podium. He's always there. He almost never disappoints. He's a very, very solid rider, great endurance. So a plus 4,000 and plus 500 for the podium. That's going to be my second choice, Pello Bilbao from Bahrain Victorious.
Yeah, I like this a lot. He's freakishly consistent. I almost feel like he's getting better as he gets older, and you never think about him. In his last 3 finishes here, 2023, he was 7th, 2022, he was 5th, 2021, 10th. And he's really good. It's a good race for him. Very possible he's on the podium. I mean,
just finished 3rd in the Tour of UAE, so he's on good form.
And he was kind of under the radar. He just has this under the radar style. So he's like a gambler's favorite because he doesn't pop out of the TV. His style kind of is always maybe too cheap for how good he is. And this race is odd. I mean, especially if there's someone up the road. These groups, don't behave how groups would normally act. And it really helps a guy like Bilbao who keeps his nose out of the wind at all costs. Let's call it a podium favorite, is Matthias Vajcek, plus 2,500 to win, plus 400 at Podium. I was really impressed with this guy last weekend. To be leading over the hardest climb at Omloop with like 16K to go, and he's only, I want to say he's like 22, 23 years old. Yeah. So in theory, he's still getting better. And he looked so good at the end of last year, looked so good at the beginning of this year. I like him for the Podium a lot at plus 400.
Yeah, he was the strongest rider individually in Omloop at Nieuwsblad. First over the Muur, first over the Bosberg. It's a guy with a huge potential. You know, we haven't seen the last thing of this guy, Matteo. It's Matthias Vajcek. Yeah,
strong team too.
He had a brother who just retired, and actually just joined the agency. Riders representation of Alex Carrera. He's becoming, his brother is Karel Vajcek, very well known to be one of the only riders to have beaten Remco Evenepoel in the juniors category.
Really?
Yeah. But retired already. Yeah. That's a good pick, Spencer. If you're that strong last weekend, he's going to be there. The guy is explosive. He's fast. He's strong. He can climb a bit. You know, the climbs on Strade Bianche are within his reach. So, and yeah, it's true. He has a strong and very solid team around him.
Yeah, Squeens, who got second last year. I think that was a magical few weeks for Toms. I would be shocked if he repeats that. Baggioli, Balcamelama, Albert Within Philipsen. Is this one of his first major pro races?
Well, he already did it.
Yeah, and he's a mountain biker, correct?
Well, he's everything.
Yeah, so
he's world champion mountain bike juniors. He's multiple Danish champion cyclocross. I think 2 times world champion on the road already. I don't know if it's in the juniors or. Huge talent. I mean, one of the biggest talents. So, you know, for him to be thrown straight away into the race like this, it's quite the statement. But they have a lot of confidence in him at Little Trek, and I'm curious to see. Yeah, he's a very aggressive rider, you know, not shy at all to attack or straight away, you know, at 19 years old or 18 or 19 years old, straight away in the game into Down Under. So. Definitely also a course that fits him really well.
He's actually 18. Holy smokes. And then Simmons rounds out that team. The thesis of that being the team is so strong. Like if one of them is in the move, like Vajcek, like they could have multiple riders in the group behind. Like that's a very good place to be in a race like this. Let's take a quick break for our sponsor. And then we have a wild card that I think I'm quite excited about. Hey everybody, this episode is brought to you by Hims. Mathieu van der Poel, Tadej Pogačar, Wout van Aert. What do they all have in common? Fantastic hair, and they clearly value how it makes them look, just like men all over the world. And that's why if you're one of these guys and you find out you're slowly losing your hair, you can feel discouraged and distressed every time you look in the mirror. But that's where Hims can help. Worry no longer, because they offer personalized hair loss solutions that can start seeing your hair grow back in as little as 3 to 6 months. All you have to do is choose from personalized solutions and treatments and find out what works best for you. The process is simple and 100% online, so there are no uncomfortable and inconvenient doctor visits. All you have to do is answer a few questions, and a medical provider will determine if the treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your treatment is sent directly to you, free of charge for the shipping, and no insurance is needed. Just one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. And don't trust us. Hims has hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers, and they can help you get your confidence back with visibly thicker and fuller hair. And who knows, it could have you winning the Tour de France and multiple monuments throughout the spring, because that's clearly the secret to cycling success at the moment. If this sounds interesting, start your free trial online today at hims.com/themove. That's Hims, HIMS.com/themove for your personalized hair loss treatment options. Again, I don't want you to forget it. Hims.com/themove. Results may vary based on studies of topical and oral treatments. Prescription products require an online consultation with the healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. All right, back to the show. All right, welcome back. Johan, who is your wild card pick for this race?
That's the super
wild card. Yeah.
It's a guy who has been present everywhere in every single race he's done. Cristian Scaroni. It's Cristian, no?
Yeah, it is.
Cristian Scaroni, XDS Astana. If you look at all the points of this year only, he's the number one rider in the world now of this year. He has scored that many points. Has been podium on almost every single race he's done. Won 2 races already, I think, 2 or 3. Pretty good climber. I saw in a few days ago in Trofeo La Guelia, won by Juan Ayuso. He was the only rider who could follow Ayuso every single time, never got in trouble, even counter-attacked him. So based on that and the condition he has right now, this guy is going to be in the front. To win, of course, it's going to be difficult, but based on the condition he has, it's at some point it's going to start to come down his condition, because this is clear that Astana or XDS Astana and Scaroni particularly, they have prepared the beginning of the season like full. And it's really, it's benefiting them a lot because they've scored so many points already. But I think that's our super wild card. He's plus 6,600 for the win and plus 500 for the podium. So that's my super wild card.
Yeah, I like this a lot. I mean, as you say, I think he's in this is probably as strong as he's going to be all year. He's done 11 races so far in the season. He's finished in the top 5 8 times. And he has 2 wins and a GC win. So 3 wins, I guess, technically. But yeah, I was really impressed with, didn't look like he was about to be dropped by Ayuso. On Ayuso, man, pretty impressive. He's just like, I can't drop him. I'll just drop back and win this sprint by 50 bike lengths. That was, makes me a little worried about how Scaroni's going to fare in a sprint, but man, it's plus 500 for the podium for probably the hottest rider that's not Tadej Pogačar right now. So a little underpriced in my opinion. Like, he's been incredible. If you're really closely watching these races, Scaroni is flying right now. Yeah. XDS Astana, this is like everything is for the spring. Kind of a home race for them. That's like an Italian flair to the team. A lot of Italian riders. Scaroni's an Italian rider. I think this could be a good race for Astana.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, there's a lot. You could sit here all day. You don't want to name people forever. Like Quinn Simmons is plus 10,000 for the win, plus 700 for the podium. Is he going to win? Probably not. Is he going to podium? The only thing, if we talk about Simmons, is he going to be top 10? There's a good chance. He's had a hard time converting those top 5, top 10s into top 3s at this race in the past. So that would be my hesitation there. But just before we go, Johan, I have a few questions for you on the women's race. The women's is the same day later. I think the odds, something stuck out to me. Demi Vollering, the favorite, minus 112. So to see a negative favorite at a one-day race is really rare because there's so many variables. Like that, just to punch that into my calculator, that is equivalent to 52% chance of winning. Do you know how many times Demi Vollering has won this race?
Once.
Yeah. It's not a sure thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, Lotte Kopecky is not at the start. Is Marianne Vos at the start? I'm going to guess no.
Is she still racing this year?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
She's not at the start.
So I guess the second favorite would be Puck Pieterse. She's strong. She's young. It's a good course for her too, but I think based on the endurance and the distance of the race and the toughness, it's Demi.
What about Longo Borghini?
Longo Borghini, but then I think Demi normally beats her in the sprint.
What about Niodoma?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
She'd have to drop Vollering though.
Yeah, but I think Kasia Niodoma is not in her top shape yet. Seems to me like she's probably gonna, take a few races to get into it. Listen, she's gonna be there. She's one of the best riders, but I think Vollering is super strong. She's gonna win.
Two other names for it. Anna van der Breggen's plus 1400. She's maybe not. Van der
Breggen is racing. Okay, that's gonna be interesting. I'm curious to see.
Listen to this one though. Pauline Ferrand-Prévot plus 3300. Is that a little low for the best mountain biker in the world who's now going full-time on the road?
No, she hasn't shown anything yet. She hasn't shown yet that she has the level of these riders. She'll need a few more months if she can get to that level.
Interesting.
She's been there in the past. But I think for now, Vollering is a level above all these riders.
Yeah. The only thing I would caution against is Vollering is not an automatic one-day winner. Like, what's the last one-day race she won against the best competition? It would be, it's been a minute. Maybe it might be Strade.
I don't know. It seems to me, though, however, Spencer, that she's on a higher level this year. She's
definitely incredibly fit.
Forward.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would think that too. I'm tempted with the Van der Breggen. I'm going to be watching this. I'm not officially betting on this. I'm still in my observation phase of the women's cycling season. I'm going to be closely watching that race because I'm quite curious to see how that goes. Here's another question for you. Paris-Nice starts on Sunday. Tirreno-Adriatico starts on Monday. These are week-long stage races. Paris-Nice is 8 days. Adriatico is 7 days. They both finish next Sunday. We're not going to do an outcomes for this because it doesn't technically make that much sense to bet on the GC of a stage race like this before it starts. We don't know a lot. So that's one. And like Jonas Vingegaard is minus 176 to win the overall. Could he win the overall? Yeah. Is he? We don't really know how strong he is. Like, that's a big thing. You can always just wait until
he's strong. He's strong. It's a goal for him. He hasn't won Paris-Nice yet. He's won Tirreno already. I think
is he stronger?
I think Vingegaard is going to win, depending on what happens with how the race develops. Because let's not forget, in these races, Paris-Nice often and Tirreno sometimes, sometimes the stage is cancelled, because of the bad weather. But if everything goes normally, I think Vingegaard is winning. Is winning Paris-Nice and Ayuso winning Tirreno.
Yeah, I don't have the odds in front of me for that, but lock that in on Ayuso. Here's the question with Vingegaard. Defending champion, Matteo Jorgensen, his teammate, plus 350. Is Matteo Jorgensen, I think Paris-Nice is a better race for him than Jonas Vingegaard.
You know what? I forgot about him. Sorry. Yeah.
I would bet. Yeah, I would.
At the same level as Jonas, in my opinion, in this race. Now the question is, how's the pecking order going to be at Visma, right? There's going to be a situation where Jonas and Matteo are going to be in a front group, and then logically Matteo is going to have to sacrifice himself for Jonas, because the chances that Jonas can ride away from the rest are bigger than when Matteo can ride away from them. Matteo's more of a diesel, he can stay with the first guys and stay there, and because of his consistency, win Paris-Nice. Jonas usually rides away from everybody. But it's great to have both of those guys on the team. I would have loved that.
Yeah, pretty nice for the director. Jonas normally rides away from people. He didn't earlier this year. Here's where it gets super, super interesting. Stage 3, team time trial, times taken at the individual finisher. So they'll be time trialing with each other, but also against each other, which is quite fascinating.
Yeah. Jonas and Matteo are going to come in together.
Yeah, if everything goes to plan, here's another one that's interesting. I think personally, Matteo Jorgensen probably wins. Jonas Vingegaard also very good chance of winning. My third favorite is Pavel Sivakov. He is at plus 3,300. I mean, that guy is so strong right now. Like, it seems a little low. That would be the one rider I would bet on right now, because his odds are only going to get worse, like for you, for the better.
And also, I mean, great team for the team time trial. You know, I mean, like you could also say, for example, you could say, okay, what David Gaudu, for example, right? 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago? He was second. He beat Vingegaard, but they're going to lose time in the team time trial. I mean, not much, but since Gaudu has to be, it's his time, they're going to have to bring him to the finish. You know, he's not going to be the driving force of the team time trial. He's not a great team time trialist, so he'll lose some time there.
Yeah, no thanks on that bet. I don't really I don't know. I don't trust him right now. Like, it wasn't a televised race, but the Tour of Oman, where he was just like, he won one of the mountain stages and he got dropped on another one. It's like, what's going on there with the consistency? So I don't think I'd ever really put any amount of money. What is he at on here? Is he in this race? He might not be.
Oh, in Strade Bianche, you mean?
Or in Paris-Nice. Oh, no, he's on. Where is Gaudu racing? Hold on a second.
Oh, maybe he's in
Tirreno.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. That's kind of shocking.
Then he's not going to be in the top of Paris-Nice.
Don't bet on him to win Paris-Nice. That bookie takes that bet. He's ripping you off. The Sivakov one really stuck out to me. I mean, because we were both so impressed with him on at Algarve. No, Andalusia. Ruta del Sol.
Ruta del Sol, yeah.
And man, sitting out there at plus 3,300 with that team in the team time trial, that would be the one I would bet on before the race starts.
Yeah.
And I guess because you're right about Jorgensen, really good race for him. Is he stronger than Jonas Vingegaard on those uphill finishes? Maybe I'm not so confident about that.
Well, I mean, you know, if he can ride his own race and save himself, he would be very close. I fear that he's going to be put in a position where he has to, at some point, get into the domestique role and do a lead out to prepare an attack for Jonas.
Yeah. And then even if you're not dropped, you're still losing time, and it's not ideal. I mean, what's the biggest finish here? There's like some of these climbs are like 7K, 7%. What is that, like 20 minutes for a pro?
Those climbs are good for Matteo.
They're really good for him.
It just depends how much Jonas has improved. And I'm pretty sure he has improved since Algarve.
Yeah, it's kind of hard actually now that you make me visualize it. Visualize Matteo Jorgensen dropping Jonas Vingegaard on some of these uphill finishes.
It can happen tactically, you know?
Yeah. I mean, especially the final day, you know? That's the ultimate cluster F of stuff can just get really weird. And Matteo's so good at that type of racing, or at least since he made the move to Visma.
Yeah, for sure.
Another funny one, Mateusz Skelmos at plus 3,300 to win Paris-Nice. I don't fully get that. Yeah, the Sivakov one stuck out to me the most. The first day, just some of these are traps, I feel like. It's Tim Merlier plus is the first stage of Paris-Nice. Tim Merlier plus 150, Mads Pedersen plus 350, Fabio Jakobsen plus 2,500. Holy smokes. But you know, it's like, I don't know if I have enough data points to feel that confident to bet on the opening stage of Paris-Nice without really knowing, because we saw Merlier at the UAE Tour, but then we don't have a great sample because he went off route slightly on Saturday. It's like, I don't really know where he is, how he is. Or no, sorry, it was at Kern.
Kern,
on Sunday. But it's like, I don't really know where he's at, so I don't feel confident enough to put money on that. I'm just trying to see if we can bet on Ayuso. They don't have Tirreno Adriatico on Unibet. That's going to be a hard race to find someone taking bets on. But Johan, do you have anything else to add before we take off?
Oh, that's it. No, impatient to see tomorrow's Strade Bianche.
Yeah, I'm very excited and impatient to see it as well. I wanted to mention this to you before we went. This Paris-Nice time trial format where it's a team. You start as a team, but the time's taken with the individual. Did you see they're doing this at the Tour de France in 2026 on the opening stage?
I mean, it could happen. I mean, they're obviously testing it out, and they want something new. I think it's good. You know, I mean, I mean, what was it before was it on the fifth? It was on the fifth rider, right?
Yeah.
When they have 8 riders. So, yeah, I think it's great. I like it.
Especially if there's an uphill. Like I think the team time trial, the 2026 Tour finishes on Montjuic.
Montjuic, yeah.
So you don't really want, like, can you imagine if you're Remco and you have to wait for the 5th quick step rider? That's not really fair.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll let you go, Johan. I'm excited to watch this, and we will be back on Monday with George Hincapie to talk about the race. No, we won't. Sorry, I've got my weeks. You guys will be on tomorrow to talk about the race, and then we'll be back next week.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good weekend, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.